Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the ATALAYA Mining PLC 2024 Annual General Meeting. Throughout this recorded meeting, attendees will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged, could be submitted at any time using the Q&A tab just situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. I'd now like to hand over to the board from ATALAYA Mining. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. May I apologise straight away. I'm afraid I'm either going to be very rude to the people at that end of the table or very rude to the camera. So it's a bit, with this setup, it's a little bit difficult. So I'll probably be rude to you, okay, down that end. Before we start, can I just set out the form of the meeting? I've been asked to read out the chairman's statement, which of course was in the 2023 annual report, and then with a very minor modifications also in the RNS of this morning. But I've been asked to read out the whole script of that, which I will do. We will then move on to the formal part of the meeting. And can I please ask that any questions on the formal, we restrict any questions to the formal part of the meeting initially, which we can take before the resolutions. After the formal part of the meeting, we will have a presentation by Alberto Lavandera, the CEO. And can I please ask you to hold any questions concerning the performance or strategy or the future of the company or past of the company from anything until then, because the presentation may very well answer some of your questions or most of your questions. So that's the format of the meeting. And with your permission, then I'll start the actual meeting, which is, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the annual general meeting of ATALAYA Mining PLC. My name is Roger Davey, chairman of the company, and with the consent of the meeting, I will act as chairman of the meeting. Not hearing any consent, I will start. Please let me introduce first of all my fellow directors, Alberto Lavandera over here, Neil Gregson, who, as we know, will be taking over as chairman in 3 days' time. Dr. Hussein Badma is further down the row. Kate Harcourt over here. Stephen Scott next to Kate. And warm welcome to our latest director, Carol Whittle, on my right here. And of course, to Cesar Sanchez, our CFO. We have an apology, I'm afraid. Jesus Fernandez was not able to be in London today, so he sends his apologies to the meeting. The meeting will now come to order, and with your consent, I shall ask George Hajanefitu, who is in the middle over there, to act as secretary and scrutineer of the meeting. The following documents have been tabled: circular containing the notice of meeting, form of proxy, the annual report containing the audited consolidated financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2023, the new articles, the draft terms of the cross-border conversion, the expert opinion with regard to the draft terms of cross-border conversion, the announcement informing shareholders, creditors, employees of the company of their right to submit comments regarding the draft terms of the cross-border conversion, and the solvency declaration on the current financial status of the company as of 30th of April 2024 and approved on the 24th of May 2024. These documents are, of course, available for any shareholder to examine as they wish. The annual general meeting of the company was convened by the notice of shareholders dated the 31st of May 2024. So I'll this way. May I take the notice as read? Thank you. I advise that there is a quorum present and that notice calling this meeting has been given in accordance with the company's articles of association. I now declare that the meeting there is properly called and constituted for the transaction of business, and turn to the resolutions for the meeting and propose each resolution in turn. Again, another apology, I'm afraid this meeting is a little longer than normal because of the read-ons and the work we've done. Resolution number 1, space here, sorry, provides for the receipt and consideration of the audited consolidated financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st of December 2023 and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. Now, full details of the proxy votes will be in the announcement later, and so I've generously been permitted to round off the numbers during this meeting. So the votes for, in resolution 1, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. The votes for, 94.6 million, against 71,000, and withheld 1,700, which is a vote for of 99.9%. I now propose resolution number 1 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour, please. Thank you. Those against? No hands. Thank you very much. I declare the resolution carried. Re-election of Roger Davey. The resolution number 2 provides for the re-election, of Mr. Roger Davey as director of the company. In respect of resolution 2, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for 94 million, against 627,000, and withheld 1,700, which is a vote for of 99.3%. Could I ask a shareholder please to propose the resolution? Thank you, Alberto. Number 2 as an ordinary resolution. Shareholders. Alberto, could you propose the resolution? I propose the resolution. Thank you. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any. I declare resolution 2 carried. Sorry. Re-election of Mr. Alberto Lavandera. The resolution number 3 votes for the re-election of Mr. Alberto Lavandera as a director of the company. In respect of resolution 3, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: 94.4 million for, against is 263,000, and withheld 1,713, which is a vote for of 99.7%. I now propose resolution number 3 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour, please. Those against? Not seeing any. I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 4 provides for the re-election of Mr. Jesus Fernandez as director of the company. In respect to resolution 4, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for 83.6 million, against 10.4 million, withheld 552,000. That's a vote for of 88.9% of the proxies. I now propose resolution number 4 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any. I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 5 provides for the re-election of Dr. Hussein Barma as the director of the company. In respect of resolution 5, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for 89.4 million, against 5.2 million, and withheld 1,713, which is a 94.5% vote for. I now propose resolution number 5 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any. I declare the resolution duly carried. Resolution number 6 provides for the re-election of Mr. Neil Gregson as director of the company. In respect of resolution 6, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for 86.1 million, against 8.5 million, and withheld 1,713, which is a vote for of 91%. I now propose the resolution numbered 6 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any. I declare the resolution carried. The resolution number 7 provides for the re-election of Mr. Stephen Victor Scott as director of the company. In respect to resolution 7, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for 89.1 million, against 5.5 million, and withheld 1,713, which is a vote for of 94.1%. I now propose resolution number 7 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Seeing any, I declare the resolution. I apologise, it's a little bit dry and I have to keep going. Resolution number 8 provides for the re-election of, not because it's you, Kate, for the re-election of Mrs. Kate Jane Richards as a director of the company. In respect of resolution 8, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for 89.1 million, against 5.5 million, and withheld 1,713, which is a vote for of 94.2%. I now propose, therefore, resolution number 8 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any. I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 9 provides for the re-election of Mrs. Carol Whittle as the director of the company. In respect of resolution 9, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for is 94.6 million, against 62,000, and withheld 1,713, which is a vote for of 99.9%. I now propose resolution number 9 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 10 provides for the appointment of PricewaterhouseCoopers Limited as the auditors of the company and to authorise the directors to fix their remuneration. In respect of sorry, was that resolution 10? Sorry, I did say that. In resolution number 10, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For is 94.6 million, against 64,000, and withheld 47, which is a vote for of 99.9%. I now propose resolution number 10 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 11 provides for the declaration of a final dividend for the financial year ended 31st of December 2023 of US cents 4 per ordinary share of the company. In respect of resolution 11, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For 94.6 million, against 17,000, and withheld 1,713, which is a proxy vote for of 100%. I now propose resolution number 11 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Just adjusting your glasses. That wasn't a hand. Okay, thank you. Those against, not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. This is like an auction. You can buy things if you like, raise your hand up. The resolution number 12 provides for the approval of the director's remuneration report as set out in the company's audited consolidated financial statements for the year ended 31st of December 2023. In respect of resolution 12, the proxy votes have been as follows. For 68 million, against 26 million, and withheld 1,185, which is a vote for of 71.9%. I now propose resolution 12 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Thank you. Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 13 provides for the approval of the director's remuneration policy. In respect of resolution 13, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For 63.4 million, against 31.2 million, and withheld 1,185, which is a vote in favour of 67.1%. I've now proposed resolution number 13 as an ordinary resolution. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? I see none. I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 14 authorises the... Resolution number 14 authorises the directors to grant, pursuant to the ATALAYA Mining PLC long-term incentive plan, options to subscribe for up to 7,028,285 ordinary shares in the capital of the company, which represents approximately 5% of the company's issued share capital, at an exercise price in accordance with the terms of the long-term incentive plan. In respect of resolution 14, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For 68.8 million, against 21.5 million, withheld 4.3 million, which is a vote for of 76.2%. I now propose to the meeting resolution number 14 set out in the notice convening the annual general meeting. As at least 50% of the company's issued share capital is represented at the meeting, in order for the resolution to be effective, it must be passed by a simple majority of the votes cast on the resolution. So I'll ask those in favour, please. Thank you. Thank you. And those against? Seeing any, I declare resolution 14 carried. Resolution number 15 authorises the directors to issue or grant rights to subscribe for up to an aggregate of 14,056,571 ordinary shares, representing approximately 10% of the current issued share capital of the company, as if the rights of pre-exemption in section 60B of the Cyprus Companies Act Cyprus law, did not apply. Such ordinary shares issued or rights to subscribe for ordinary shares granted pursuant to this authority will be at a price of not less than 20% discount to the market price of an ordinary share on the main market for the 10 trading days immediately preceding such issue or grant. In respect of resolution 15, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For 94.6 million, against 62,000, and withheld 1,715, which is a vote for of 99.9%. I now propose resolution 15 set out in the notice convening the annual general meeting. As at least 50% of the company's issued share capital is represented at the meeting, in order for the resolution to be effective, it must be passed by a simple majority of the votes cast on the resolution. Those in favour then, please. And those against? Not seeing any, I declare resolution 14 carried. Resolution 16 provides for an amendment to the company's Articles of Association by the deletion of Regulation 161 and substituting this with a new Regulation 161 as follows. 161. The company may, in accordance with the Cyprus Companies Law, continue to exist as a legal person under the legal regime or jurisdiction of a country other than the Republic of Cyprus. In respect of this resolution number 16, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For, 94.6 million, against 62,000, and withheld 1,750, which is a vote for of 99.9%. I now propose resolution number 16 as a special resolution. To be effective, it must be approved by at least 75% of the votes cast at this meeting. So those in favour, please. Thank you. And those against? Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. Gosh, nearly there. Resolution number 17 provides for the approval of the cross-border conversion of the company pursuant to the draft terms of the cross-border conversion issued by the Board of Directors on the 24th of May 2024 in accordance with Regulation 161 of the company's existing Articles of Association. As a result of such cross-border conversion, the company shall no longer be governed by the laws of the Republic of Cyprus, but shall continue to exist as a legal entity which shall be governed by Spanish law. In respect of Resolution 17, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For, 94.6 million, against 19,000, and withheld 47, which is a vote for of 100%. Effectively. I now propose the resolution number 17 as a special resolution. To be effective, it must be approved by at least 75% of the votes cast at this meeting. Those in favour, please. Those against? Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution number 18 provides for the submission of an application to the Nicosia District Court for the purposes of obtaining the pre-conversion certificate attesting to compliance with all relevant conditions and to the proper completion of all procedures and formalities in Cyprus with respect to the cross-border conversion. In respect of Resolution 18, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. For, 94.6 million, against 18,000, and withheld 47, which is effectively a 100% vote for. I propose resolution number 18 as a special resolution. To be effective, it must be approved by at least 75% of the votes cast at the meeting. Those in favour? Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. Resolution 19 provides for the company, Resolution 19 provides that the company shall take all such steps to make all necessary tax returns with the tax authorities in Cyprus and obtain tax clearance certificates. In respect of Resolution 19, the proxy votes have been cast as follows. 94.6 million, against 18,000, and a withheld 47, which is effectively a 100% vote for. I now propose resolution number 19 as a special resolution. To be effective, it must be at least 75% of the votes cast at this meeting. Those in favour? Thank you. And those against? Not seeing any, I declare the resolution carried. And finally, notarization of resolutions and declarations, applications and statements in connection with the cross-border conversion. The resolution number 20 authorises each of the company's directors and Mr. Cesar Sanchez Fernandez as company CFO, as well as the company's legal counsel in Cyprus to 1. Have these resolutions notarized before a notary public in Spain, as well as to take all actions and execute all public and private documents as are necessary or desirable for registration of these resolutions at the Spanish Companies Registry and for the removal from the registry at the Cypriot Company Registry of Entries relating to the company. And 2, this is a wonderful legal document. It's over 100 words in one sentence. Lawyers. Number 2, make all declarations, applications and statements and to all acts and things as may be necessary in connection with the cross-border conversion, and to do all related and ancillary acts and sign and register any documents in connection with the registration of the company in Spain, and generally to do all such things being in the interest of the company for it to cease to be registered in the Republic of Cyprus, and make all necessary notifications, applications to court, any applications to inform the Cypriot and Spanish tax authorities, all the cross-border conversion, and take any other necessary actions in this respect, semicolon, and number 3, take all actions and complete all processes with private persons or public organizations of any nationality as are necessary or convenient under applicable law to execute, register, or disclose these resolutions or their effects. In respect of Resolution 20, the proxy votes have been cast as follows: for, 94.6 million, against 62,000, withheld 1,713, effectively 99.9% vote for. I now propose Resolution number 20 as a special resolution. To be effective, it must be approved by at least 75% of the votes cast at the meeting. Those in favour, please. Thank you. Those against? Not seeing any, I declare resolution carried. Thank you very much. That completes the business part, the formal part of the annual general meeting, and I declare the meeting is closed. Thank you all very much for attending. We would like to invite, no, sorry. Before we do that, we will then, the meeting is now closed, the formal part. I'll now hand over to the CEO, Alberto Lavadera, to do a presentation on the company. Thank you very much. I will try to be brief. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will try to be brief and leave some time for questions. Otherwise, we will start first with the results, the review of the results of last year, and I have here also close to the results of the previous year. We produced around the same amount of copper than last year, only around 600 tons less, by processing more ore from the mill at lower grade. And despite the lower production and the lower grade, we were able to get cash costs of around $280 per pound and around $3.1 per pound all-in sustaining costs, which are around 20 cents lower than the previous year. The reason for that is mainly the reduction of operating costs, most of them related to electricity and everything related to the energy prices during last year. So it was a quite successful year because we had an EBITDA of 73 million euros, which is around 20 million euros more than the previous year, and profits of 36 million euros, which is basically 20% higher than the previous year. Operating cash flow of 65 million euros was also higher, around 30 million higher than the previous year, and free cash flow went from being negative during the 22 to being positive of around 50 million in 23. And this allowed us to maintain our net cash position in around 55 million euros like previous year, without debt, in spite of having invested in exploration, in the development of solar plant and other investments. So I would say from the economic point of view, it was quite a good year. From the corporate point of view, we announced that we were going to be moving to the main market, and we did that already. We talked about that a little bit. We also announced that we would be moving out from Cyprus to Spain in order to benefit from all the things that we can
and we can discuss. And also we paid a dividend and we announced another dividend, which basically is 9 cents per share, excuse me, which is also substantially higher than the 7.5 cents per pound that we had last year. So again, from this point of view, we delivered on our promises. And from the assets point of view, also previous year, we had said we were going to start the helix, and I will report a little bit about that, but we were able to start producing some during test work. In spite of the delays, we were able to do some copper cathodes and some zinc precipitates produced from the treatment of copper concentrates. But also quite important is that we have already started stripping the San Inicio for future phases. And I should remind that last year we said that we had just published the 43-101 related to those resources, and that we were just going to start the permitting. And actually 1 year later, we are already mining the first phase of that pit. We also, last year, we also announced that we were going to start a solar plant, and this year is basically over finished. And also we said we were going to continue with the permitting process in Toro, which we did, and also this has resulted in being declared of strategic interest by the Xunta de Galicia. We have continued working also with the ESG and health and safety, publishing our third sustainability report, and also providing targets for reduction of emissions, scope 1 and scope 2. And we continue with activities of the restoration of the rivers, clean waters around Toro, and the construction of the solar plant in Adretillo. Some changes to the board. Neil Gregson was appointed senior independent director, and also is now going to be a chairman of the company. So all these details are there. Going a little bit and trying to be very brief. I think an important achievement this year was getting to the main market. The mission in April was the end of a long journey that we had planned a couple of years ago, and it was responding to the desire of lots of investors that wanted the transparency and the benefits of being in a main market. With this transition will also mean that we will be able to, after the redomiciliation in Cyprus, to move our headquarters, an official headquarters from Cyprus to Spain. It's logical because all our assets are in Spain. And that will mean that we will be able to be subject to the inclusion of the index in the PLC, which will provide, again, a new source of liquidity to our shareholders, which is something that we always required and it was planned a long time ago. With this, it also brings some changes in the rules. And I would like to say that the main thing is that due to our chairman here, Roger David, present in that ceremony, has been over 10 years in the company. Due to the rules of the main market, he's not longer considered independent, although I have to say in the public that I have not seen people as independent as Roger. And I now want to thank him in public for his contribution during this very long and successful journey, although sometimes it's been very painful to get there. But Roger will remain on the board and we really as a non-executive director, and it will be substituted by Neil Gregson, which has been also with the company for quite a long time and knows very well the company. I'm sure it would be as good as Roger. Also, some changes in the board. Kate had been senior independent director, and welcome Carol to our company. She promised her fund, and this company has never unfulfilled the promises. So you will continue having lots of things to talk about the progress of this company. The main thing that we will be welcoming this year is the finally been awarded strategic status project project of strategic interest according to the laws of Galicia. This is a law that was passed in the beginning of this year, which is designed to expedite and streamline the permitting of industrial projects in Galicia. It is the first time mining project is included in this type of initiatives. We fulfill all the conditions, and we have been working with the authorities and with all the stakeholders, with more than 300 meetings being held in the community, in the project to listen to the concerns and to give solutions to the concerns that result in having a negative impact declaration 4 years ago. We believe that with this declaration, the permitting of the project of Toro is going to be much lower, much shorter. Maximum by law is going to be 1 year. We think it's going to be shorter than that, and we look forward to getting this project, which will be part of our future. Last year, we also mentioned that we have filed the technical report for San Benicio. San Benicio has higher grade, almost double the grade that we are mining in Terra Colorado, which you can see in the picture. And 1 year later, we're already mining. We still have to receive the full permits for the full open pit. As you can see, the existing operation is already substantial, and this would allow us to use higher grade copper in this year 24, and substantially higher production in the years to come. The lower part of the project contains some sulfides of copper mixed with zinc, which will require the addition of a new flotation installation, or the treatment of the polymetallic sulfides. Also last year, we said that as part of our strategy to treat those sulfides, we were looking at something that we have been providing assistance, financial assistance, and technical assistance to a system called Helix, which has been developed at our site. We showed last year a picture similar to this, where you could see in the center of the picture the plant of Helix. At that time, it was only a cage, something empty with a few installations, and I believe that the last presentation showed some flotation cells. This system should provide us with better recoveries in the complex metallurgies with around 20 points higher, which, although still needs full commissioning, we believe we can add a lot of value to the company, specifically in the polymetallic sulfides in the parent belt. So last year, we were only showing a gauge, and this year we can show a little bit more than that, although the secrecy that this construction is being taken doesn't allow us to show all the installations. But you can see in the right side picture that the installation is something quite complex, with pipes, which has allowed us to produce already the first copper cathodes during the commissioning in the last days of previous year, simply when we were testing the production, the electrowinning cells, and also all these copper sheets came from the copper concentrates. This system can also extract the zinc from copper concentrates, and also the plant right now that's been commissioned has been extracting zinc concentrates, zinc metal precipitates from copper concentrates. And the zinc is shown at the left, and on the right you can see the copper clean concentrate. So in other words, inside the plant you introduce a mixed blended copper zinc concentrate, and you can extract a zinc precipitate that you can leach and produce metal directly. And you are left with a copper concentrate without zinc and without the penalties that you can also leach and produce metal directly, or sell it as it is as a better concentrate. I can announce now that although we have had delays, and these things always take time because they are quite new, we are in the commissioning phase already, in a continuous or semi-continuous operation, and we should see the economic results of this installation during the second part of 2024. For this, the main reagent is electricity. 80% of the costs of this plant is electricity. Last year, as I said, we had high operating costs, and we were only showing some boxes full of cells that had arrived to site and they were ready to be assembled and it's going to be in production by mid this year. Unfortunately, we have had some delays with the supplier, but as you can see, the plant is basically finished and it will be commissioned at the end of the year. Actually, in a view of installation, in this picture, you can see there in the far left, all that old dump covered with panels, which not only restores an old dump, but also gives us future cheap electricity, which will be fundamental not only for the operating cost of the flotation plant, but also for ELEX. This plant should provide 22% of our electricity needs, with around a little bit more than 35% also being hedged already at a low low electricity price, which means we will be able to get cheap electricity for the future in our company. And finally, what are our targets for this year? Well, we have admitted to the main market. We have achieved that already. We are progressing to move to Cyprus. The resolution, as we have heard before, of moving up to Cyprus has been approved unanimously. And we believe we will be ready to have this thing approved by fourth quarter of this year. ELEX will continue to ramp up and commission the second part. We also expect the start of the solar plant finally. We will continue San Inicio stripping and providing higher grades. We also finalizing the permit on the main pit, which we don't have any doubt is going to be obtained, because we have already obtained the most difficult part, which is the tailings expansion and the footprint of the project itself. At total, now that we have received the strategic strategic industrial project status, it means that the project will go into public information the summer, late July, early August, which means it will go through August, maybe September. The paperwork in the Junta can be made, the reports in the last part of the year, and we could have the approval of this project because we believe we fulfill absolutely all the conditions by the end of this year or by first quarter of 25, and never more than 1 year. Following that, in 15 months to 18 months, we will have that project up and running, exactly in the point where we believe the copper prices are going to be quite high and higher, substantially higher than now. This is a very clean concentrate, very straightforward project. I won't say it's a cut and paste of what we have done in Rio Tinto, but certainly I used to say that when we built Rio Tinto, we built it without money. In this case, where we have now a good balance sheet and we have money in the bank and we have a team with experience, it must be a piece of cake. Having said that, we continue also to focus in finding more things in the district around Rio Tinto. We have several rigs going on, and we also continue to look even abroad, in Europe, in South America, in the Iberian Peninsula for new discoveries, to expand the life of this company. Remember, when we first started exactly 10 years ago, the first EM of this new era was in 2014. We had ahead of us 12 years of life. We have gone now 10 years, and we still have 15 ahead of us, assuming we will find anything. So I think the future of this company is excellent. So this concludes my presentation. I wanted to make it brief, and we have a few questions coming online, which I'm happy to read and respond. I don't think people can see them, but I can see them on my screen. No, I will, of course. So the first question comes, what are the key milestones and timelines for total project, and what challenges or opportunities do you foresee in the development of this project? Well, I've said about the key milestones. I think we will see the project going to public information in the summer. We'll see the responses of the delegations and complaints of those opposing the project by the third quarter, and we will be able to have all our paperwork ready by the end of the year. After that is the Junta de Galicia, which has shown support to this project, to reply and give us the status, the final permits, which will include, by the way, the urbanistic permit, the construction permit, the water permits. So all the permits associated will be obtained in one go, which we expect it to be. Challenges, of course, will always be some challenges in the construction. You never know. Opportunities, I think the opportunity there is to make further discoveries, to be able to produce some byproducts using Helix. And I think that project, I'm sure we will see the same thing that happened in Rio Tinto, where we will extend the mine life, and I see that project going for at least 20 years, quite easy with the resources we have in the ground. Second question comes, says cash costs have decreased significantly. Can you elaborate on the main factors that contributed to these reductions and how sustainable these cost levels are in the long term? Well, I think they are fully sustainable. Actually, the costs today up to June are similar or lower than previous year. The main reduction of these costs are due to the lower electricity costs, and this, it seems, that's something that's here to stay. Actually, the cost will even be going to be reduced much more when we start inputting higher grades from San Inicio, because obviously the costs that we have are mainly per ton of material introduced to the plant, and if we have higher grade, we produce more, the costs go down. The third question comes like, following the re-domiciliation in Spain, what changes are expected in the company operational, regulatory, or tax framework? Well, I don't think there will be many changes. The regulation and tax are similar to what we are enjoying right now. We are not having specific benefits, tax implications from being in domicile in Cyprus, because this tax authorities in Spain tax you from you have your main activity. And I think this is not going to change too much. I think the important thing that will happen is that we will be subject to being included in the index in the main market, which means we'll provide a higher liquidity for our shareholders. Of course, also being in Spain, we have seen a huge support from the Junta de Andalucía, because it's quite unusual that a company traded in a market like London has a social domicile in Andalucía and not even in Madrid. And this has been very welcome. And actually, I can report that we have a full support of the authorities to a level that you cannot imagine. I mean, we achieved basically meetings and results with full collaboration with the authorities. The last question comes: Is Helix total recovery 70% for float and 80% for Helix 56? No, actually, for flotation, it will be around 70 to 75%, and Helix will have around 95% recovery. So the global recovery will be over 85%. So basically, the recovery from Helix is full. Sorry, I see we have a new one. Are the projects in development progressing as expected? I suppose being exploration. Well, exploration is never as good as we expect, and we always expect more to make the next discovery. But let's say that the progress is enough to justify the board to approve a good budget and the continuation of the budget, and to have several rigs going in drilling extensions, mainly in Masa Valverde, but also in some grassroots. So let's say that it's very early to say the results, but they're good enough to say that we continue with very good expectations. And also, by the way, we are also going to start exploring in Toro, which also means that probably we'll be able to expand the resource in the future. So that concludes the presentation and the questions. And
any questions from the table?
Thank you for the presentation. Let's ask about Masa Valverde, given the high grade and proximity to Rio Tinto, the economics for it potentially was very, very strong and stronger than Toro. Is that a fair assessment, or am I missing something?
it
sorry, and if it is a fair assessment, is there a reason why management wouldn't try and fast track Masa Valverde ahead of Torre?
Well, I think things are totally separate because they're in different districts. But if something in this company is that we move very fast, and we only got the permits of Masa Valverde last year. We have already been drilling the geotechnical drill holes to start construction of the ramp. I expect to take to the board at the end of this year the award of the construction of the ramp. So yes, we are going to develop that project in parallel to Touro. Actually, it doesn't mean they are totally different. Touro is in the north part of Spain, while Valverde will still require a construction of a ramp of around 2 years in order to get to the deep parts of the deposit. The deposit of Masa Valverde is a large sulfide deposit which contains some lowish grades overall, but then within it contains some good grades of copper and some good grades of zinc. Initially, the ramp will be pointing and going towards the area with copper, where we can just throw in the copper extracted by a contractor, throw it in our plant with very limited investment. But yes, we are developing that, we are working on it, and we only got the permits last year, and we're already working to start actually this year. So we move quite fast, yes. Thanks. And we are drilling there as we speak.
Just ask us about the CapEx over the next couple of years. What is activities you plan for the next 2-3 years? What's the profile looking like and the funding requirement?
Yeah, look, CapEx, we have given some guidance for this year, but in rough terms, looking at it beyond this year, we have the main consumption of CapEx, obviously, which is not included in this year, is the Touro project. If we see that we could get the project permitted, let's say at the end of this year, which is the most optimistic case, the investment will be around 250 million euros in 2 steps. The first step will be slightly less than 200 million, and the next expansion, small change 2.5 years later. So we will be seeing around 250 million in the next 3 years, starting next year. But with the first one, around 200 million done in 18 months. That's the big investment. In the case of investments in our production site, like Rio Tinto, we have this thing of Masa Valverde, which will be along 2 years, because there's a certain speed, you cannot go faster than that. And let's say the ramp, roughly it's around 20 million, so you will expect another 10 million each year, because you cannot speed up much, and it doesn't require any plant or so on. Besides that, we will continue having the normal exploration of roughly around 10 million per year. And depends on the results of the helix, we may construct a facility for extraction of zinc, which has to be constructed in the next 3 years, so I cannot tell you exactly when it's going to be. In the PA was around $75 million. That's still work in progress, and we are looking at all the designs. So that's roughly what we will have in the next 3 years, unless we have a huge discovery and we can adapt to the plans immediately.
Any other questions? Good, thank you. Well, before I close the meeting, I think it'd be remiss of me not to say just a few words. This is my 10th and last appearance as chairman of ATALAYA. I have to say I'm very proud to have spent 10 years as chairman of ATALAYA. I've been very privileged to support Alberto and play perhaps a very minor role in the attainments of the company over all of those years. When Alberto joined the company, or I tricked him into coming into the company, we had, in fact, no concession, no permits, no funding, no money, and he still joined the company. And over the 10 years, ably supported by Cesar, I have to say, sitting opposite me here, we turned it into a company which had a 4 million throughput plant throughput producing copper, which was raised to 9 million tonnes a year throughput, up to a 15 million tonnes a year throughput, which is now looking at 16 million above nameplate capacity, producing 50-odd thousand tonnes of copper a year. I mean, it's some attainment that from a period of no permits, no funding, not even a concession. And I'm very privileged and proud to have been a small part of that, a very small part of that, supporting Alberto from a long way behind him. I'm handing over to Neil the safe and capable hands of Neil Gregson from now on. So he'll be here taking over the meetings. I'll be at the other end of the table supporting and possibly asking questions, but always supporting the company after all this time with them. So, and I'd just like to thank everybody for a wonderful 10 years, not only the board, but the advisors who we've known now for so long, the advisors and good friends of the company who have kept us going for so long and supported us. I think it's time for me to go because I don't know if anybody noticed I forgot to read the chairman's statement at the beginning. But everything, in fact, in there was included in the CAO's report, so it would have been a repetition if I had read it out. But if I could just finish that, the chairman's statement off, and I'll read it, because the last statement said, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for the continued dedication and commitment of the management and staff of ATALAYA. At the same time, I would like to thank all board members for their support, guidance, and continued engagement with all aspects of the company's activity, and to also, of course, big thanks to our valued shareholders for their continued and appreciated support. So essentially, that's me bowing out and saying thank you very much for everybody. Thank you. I'd like to invite you all to stay on and join us, of course, for refreshments, I hope. Have we got refreshments before I offer? and discuss on a more informal basis with particular groups. So at your will.
That's great. To the board of ATALAYA Mining, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. If I could please ask investors not to close this session, as we'll now redirect you for the opportunity to provide your feedback in order that the company can better understand your views and expectations. So take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure it'll be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the board of ATALAYA Mining PLC, I'd like to thank you for attending today's annual general meeting, and good morning to you all.